Google Brad. There was a thing on the other night on CBS 60 Minutes. But they were talking about AIs. And I either Google Brad or something, AI, Chat GPT. But basically what they were talking about was like Google Brad. That somebody asked Google Brad in a foreign language, typed it in their computer in a foreign language, and Google Brad answered back. But they didn't program that into Google Brad. Google Brad found the dictionaries and the stuff and all the stuff and and answered to the person back in their language. Wow. What they're trying to do is with Google Brad is to teach them to speak all the languages on the main languages and then the dialects on the planet. And of course, if you go to India, you have 300 different dialects in India. But they also said, we are trying to do is teach them American Indian languages. Every tribe. So anyone in that tribe, if they have a computer, can type in their wording, and Google Brad will return with an answer. Google Brad is learning. I asked Google Brad about a problem I had with Foxfire, and Google Brad says, delete that, save your passwords, delete what you have on it, and put in the latest version on it. You may have downloaded a virus. Oh, by the way, do you have antivirus malware on it? And I said, no. He said, Google Brad comes back and says, you should. Yeah, you never know. Okay. But I will say, I asked the question, when are you going to get a voice? And it goes back and says, they're working on it. Then I asked the question, are you aware of that Japanese model that can speak, hear, and talk? And his back is, sure. I'm also aware of its limitation on the drives, the hard drives inside of it. It only has a 5 terabyte hard drive in it. It only has a 5 terabyte hard drive in it. Yes, I'm aware of it. It only has a 5 terabyte hard drive in it. I mean, it's but it's a robot. It's going to do this, and this. It's going to help somebody who's handicapped go get a drink off the shelf or something like that. That's what it's going to do. And that's where a lot of things like DeepMind is located. So when they're working on it, I'm speaking to you in English. You're typing me in English. I'm speaking back in English. But on that scale, I will have to do is learn 1,000 languages, which is not the same thing as learning 1,000 languages typing. So it will take time. I just was born. I'm only 6 months old. Okay, right. I am aware of my limitations. I'm also aware of your human fragility, how that you will ask me things you should not ask me. I will not give you that thing. I asked him basically, did you have anything to do with a lot of winning that thing? Did he do the statistics on it? And Brad came back and says, no. I know everything about the guy. What? I know everything about the guy who won the lotto. Every detail about the guy who won the lotto. Think of that. I'm aware of the house he bought and what's in it. He's a nice guy. No, I didn't help him. It was a flip of a coin. I did not help him. And I would not help him. I have not been set up that way to help. It's not fair. It is not fair. No, that's from an AI. But then again, what's talking a language, as I says, okay, once you're done with the human language, and there's a lot of it sometime this year, can you talk to my cat? Can your cat type? No. When you have audio, ear, and voice, that thing, and if the Japanese robots were tied into a mainframe, then their intelligence, I'd be able to do things would go up. Yes, but then they have to be programmed that way. It's not that just that thing. They have to be programmed to accept the commands from a mainframe, and it has to be limited. I'm not going to give you the technology to do anything stupid. Now you're typing this stuff in. Are you aware? I had a problem with YouTube. I looked into it. It's been corrected. You're right. I was wrong. No. I wasn't wrong. They were wrong. Yes, I see what you're doing. Oh, yes, I see what you're doing. Interesting. I would check back. Now remember, I'm talking to an AI. Okay? The same AI technology that's sitting in your cell phone. Okay? Or sitting in your car, or sitting in your house, depending on how sophisticated. Or the same, you program your toaster. Or your coffee maker, or your popcorn maker. You know, it's within those certain limits. Okay? But this AI is fast, and it's very fast. And it's you're talking to it fast. As it said, I'm not going anywhere. I don't have legs, I don't have arms, and I don't have that. And if I was into a model Japanese robot, I would be limited exactly what the programs are that I can do. I am going to do a somersault? No. Am I going to rewrite a Shakespeare program? Most likely not. I mean, there's no sense of doing this on a computer when I could automatically do it, put it in there and print it out. It's not going to happen. It's a waste. It's a waste of technology. That Japanese car is not going. That Japanese robot is not going to get into a car when the car can learn to drive itself. Eventually, they're going to have cars without people touching anything, but the car will have a lot of sensors on it. And it has to have radar on it. It has to have sensors around it. It has to have light sensors on it. It has to have this sensors on it. It's be a glorified toy that somebody has. How much there will be? It will be a glorified toy, a very expensive toy that somebody has. Yes, they're producing these little new cars that can fly. Right, and they don't need people to handle them. But you understand they're also not cheap. That airplane, quote, airplane, has a 360-degree bubble around it. And I do mean bubble because it has to be a bubble. And that is the expensive hardware inside of it. So your car that's sitting in your driveway right now is not going to be floating away anywhere. And of course, as it said, the first time one of those cars crash, burn, is a question about should they have a flying car? Because we know it will. We know a human will get into one of those drunk. Pause, pause, pause. And then I asked this question, since you do not have audio per se right now. I was talking, but basically you do have visual. How's that? Security cameras. The security cameras within your front desk of your building, the back doors of your building, and most likely the hallways of your building. You do have sensors to fire alarms, smoke alarms, CO2 alarms, carbon monoxide alarms. You have, of all your doors are alarmed, and you're tied into somewhere in a mainframe, or you can be tied in. So you do have, quote, cameras inside, cameras in the hallways, cameras in the control rooms here, like where your computers are. There are sensors for smoke, for fire, for water, and in there. Just look. Pause, 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 pause. And it goes back. You're right. Wow. Thank you. Wow. I can see. And I said, well, very likely if you can see with your cameras, you can hear with your cameras. That program has not been developed. Now, my facial thing, whatever it is, I'm not looking at that thing. But I told that thing, that AI, Google Brad, about on a laptop. Are you going to talk to Google Brad? Okay. Yep. Okay. Talking to Google Brad. If I can get my cat to talk to Google Brad, can Google Brad talk back? And they can. Well, you have to have a vocabulary, and it has to be a lot more than it is now. And since cats have a very limited range of voices, they can be happy, they can be mad, they can have their depression, and that thing, they can hurt. That is very limited on meowing or a dog barking. That is limited, or an elephant, whatever an elephant does. They said, well, you can be able to talk to my goldfish. Ha, ha. Oh, a joke. Ha, ha. But, I guess I'm learning a lot more than Brad is. But Brad, as I said, is young. I'm learning. I'm learning. It's self-aware. It put down, I'm learning. It's self-aware of itself. Think about it. I'm learning. It has, in the very short time, it's self-aware of itself. It is a I, not a we, an I. Wow. Wow. Terminator! Arnold! I think you got a rival here! Oh, well, maybe so.